Hey there, boys and girls. We are on lesson 11.9. But before we turn in our book, I want you to understand and be reminded of the importance of place value. Place value matters. Okay, if I give you two $100 bills, is that the same as two $1 bills? No. If I give you two $10 bills, is that the same as two $1 bills? No. But now we are dealing with decimals also. So let's look at the first two numbers right here. 225, 225. They're the same. Great. Does it matter which one I give you? Yes. What is a big difference between this number and this number? Now assume, we haven't talked about this before, but assume if I have $225, that there's a hidden decimal after that. $225, there's a decimal, and there's no fractions after. There's no dimes, there's no pennies. $225 even, there's a hidden decimal that tells us our ones place, our tens place, and our hundreds place. Now, when we see the decimal, we know that this suddenly becomes the ones place, right? So this one, the first one is $2.25. But this one is $225. You see, there's the ones place. $225.00. Now what happens when the decimal is here, boys and girls? What do we see? It's $22.50. Okay, so I can put these in, right? And that means the same thing. This would be $225. This one would be $22.50. Okay, this would be $2.25. So even though we all have the same digits, we're using the same numbers, the value matters. Okay, and how do we figure out the value? We use the place value. Okay, so that's a quick reminder. Now, turn in your books to page 100. I'm sorry, I keep saying 100. 323. We're not going back to the 100s. We're in 323. Judah, the snake reminds me of you. Tell me if it's poisonous or not. It is the Arizona mountain snake. I'm going to do that in red. The Arizona mountain king snakes are colorful snakes that live in higher areas of the desert. They are not poisonous. Judah, I'm trying to remember your fun phrase with the red and black together, not together. I don't remember. And maybe this one doesn't even count because it's red. Is this a white? And anyway, that reminds me of you. Okay, so these are not poisonous and may be kept as pets. Fun. If you want to buy a king snake, you will need a terrarium. That's like the big glass tank. You'll need a terrarium, food, and water dishes, and a reptile heater. So, if you were to go to the store, maybe you got some birthday money, and you said, I want to buy a snake. Well, you need money for the snake, the terrarium, the water dish, and the reptile heater. So you know how much the snake is. Maybe someone gives you the snake and you want to buy all the things that go with it. And you got $50 for your birthday. Well, let's make sure we can add all of that up. So in there, below our box, it says, here is an example of what you might pay for your snake. So we have $37.50 for the terrarium, 0.95, 95 cents for the water dish, $9.36 for the reptile heater, and all together it's $47.81. Do you see what was important here, boys and girls? Keeping the decimals lined up. That's going to be your biggest thing, is being neat. Those of you who are sloppy, use a piece of graph paper if you need to really line these up. Or be really careful on this page, boys and girls, because even though this is lined up for you, you need to make sure that you are being neat and everything stays in a row. Okay, so let's keep going. If you purchase your snake supplies with a $50 bill, because you got that for your birthday, how much change will you receive? So this one we added up to find out the total that we would need to pay. Now, if we were subtracting 50, we'd have the 50 minus this total that we had here, okay? And we would see how much change we'd receive. That's how much we'd have left over. So you see what they did there? 50 minus 47.81, and they got $2.19. This is big. Read this with me. When adding or subtracting decimals, be sure to line up the decimal point. Remember, we just said that. Add zeros to the places if needed. You will receive $2.19 in change. So what they said here, so $50, I know that $50 means two invisible place values. What are they? Well, that means 0 dimes and 0 pennies. Do you see that I'm highlighting in yellow? Okay, so when we were subtracting, this is what they're telling you not to do. Don't do this. Okay, that's not going to work because where is the imaginary place value? After the whole number. So this is not going to work. You have to line it all up. And then they added the placeholders right here. So there's 0 dimes and 0 pennies. Do you see it? Right here. Okay, awesome. So let's try that. Let's move along and line these up neat, 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 neat. Okay, rewrite each problem in vertical form. Line up the decimal points. This is big. Add zeros as needed if needed to fill the place values. Then we solve. Okay, so let's do this together. We have, just so I'm neat, I'm going to go this backwards a little bit. There we go. 1.67 plus 0.81. The biggest thing, boys and girls, is lining up that decimal. I'm going to put it in here and line it up before I even add any other numbers. Do you see how I did that? I started backwards, so I knew how to fit it. Then I found where my decimal went. Now the next one, I will make it fit in there. 0.81. Now I can actually do the math. 7 plus 1 is 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry the 1. Don't forget to carry. Show your work. 1 and 1 is 2. Awesome. Ooh, here is when I go too fast, and you might too. This one's subtraction. Don't forget. Okay, let's look at the next one. 212. Watch this, boys and girls. Here's what you might have been tempted to do. Oops. What's wrong with this? Stop and tell me right now. There's a big clue for you. What is wrong with how I line these numbers up? The decimals don't match. So in order to make this right, what do I need to do with that top number? I need to scoot it over. Okay, and sometimes you'll actually start doing your problem and you'll realize, ooh, I need to move that. So now let's relook at our number. There's a 4 here, a 2, and a 1. So 12.4 minus 6.35. Now, what did our instructions say to do if we needed to? What's missing right here? A hidden 0, right? But we need that to actually do the work. So now that we have that, let's actually do the math. Well, 0 minus 5, I can't do it. I need to borrow. 4 becomes 3. This 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. Awesome. 3 minus 3 is 0. 2 minus 6, I can't do it, so I have to borrow. Now it becomes 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. Great, my answer is 605. Am I right? No, it's not 605. It is not. What am I missing? The decimal. This needs to come down. If you're thinking 12 minus 6, you're not going to get an answer near 605. You think, well, how could 12 minus about 12 minus about 6 equals 605? It can't, but it can equal about 6. Do not forget your decimal. Do you see that there? Do not forget your decimal. Decimal, decimal. Line them up. Uh-oh, this one has 3 decimal places, or 3 numbers with decimal places. Okay, I know right now, here's what I'm going to do before I start writing anything down. I know that there's a tenths place and a hundredths place. Do you see it? So I know that I'm going to need to start with my decimal scooted over. I'll show you on just a black pen so you can see. My decimal is 2 hops away from the end. So I could do this 1 hop, 2 hop, and I know my decimal needs to be lined up there with all of my problems because I have tenths place and a hundredths place to deal with. So now that we know that, let's do our first number. 15.21. What's our next number? Look at the decimal place. Write it in first if you need to. 3.7. Okay, let the decimal place be your guide. So I'm going to put that decimal place right here. What comes before the decimal? A 4. What comes after the decimal? 1/10 and 6 hundredths. Do you see it? 16 hundredths. Okay, now that we can do that, now we can actually move ahead and add. I could put in a 0 here to remind me that there's nothing there. 6 plus, now we can actually add. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7, 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 and 4 make 10. 11, 12, 13. Carry the 1. Ooh, my answer is 2,307. No. What do I need here, boys and girls? A decimal. It is 23.07. Woo. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, well, this one has 1 hop for the decimal. This one has 2 places, so we have hundredths and tenths. So I need to make sure this is hundredths and tenths. My decimal is going to go right here. 2 hops over. 2 places. Okay, so my first number, remember this is subtraction, 8.4 minus, let the decimal be your guide, 2.75. What, before we do anything, what do we need to put in that little hole where we know there's a 0? Well, let's put a 0. Now we can actually do the math. Here we go. And it's subtraction, don't forget. 0 minus 5 is, well, we can't do it, so we need to borrow. 4 becomes 3, 0 becomes 10, 10 minus 5 is 5. 3 minus 7, can't do it, we got to borrow again. 8 becomes 7, this becomes 13. 13 minus 7 is 6. Awesome, 7 minus 2 is 5. What are we missing? Very important. The decimal, 7.65. It stays in the same row. Do you see it? Awesome. Okay, here's what's great. This next page is lined up for us. So let's work on this next section together. We're going to estimate again. So first we're going to round to the nearest whole number. Then we're going to estimate. Then we're going to find the real sum or difference. So let's do it together. First we're going to estimate. I'm just going to power through and let's do all the fun estimations first. Okay? Remember, our tenths place is the bossy place. Like our dimes, boss, how many dollars we have. So we just need to look at the tenths place, and the tenths are the boss of the whole number. So what's the rule? 5 and up, round up. 4 and down, round what? Down. So all we need to look at is our tenths place in all of these to see if the number goes up or down. Okay, 5 and up, round up. 13 becomes 14. 5 and up, round up. 6 becomes, 5 becomes 6. Awesome. Number 6. 5 and up, round up to 27. 4 and down, round down to 3. Awesome. Okay, number 7. 4 and down, round down to 14. 4 and down, round down to 9. Great. Next one. 5 and up, round up to 8 becomes 9. 4 and down, round back down to 5. And now, again, boys and girls, if you want to pause the video, try this on your own, and then double check with me, that is wonderful. That actually helps you grow and become even smarter. So here we go. 6 that's 5 and up, round up to 19. 4 and down, round down to 2. Excellent. Number 10, 4 and down, round down to 17. 5 and up, round up to 3. Amazing. Okay, since we've already done that, let's just quickly add these together. 14 and 6, 6 and 4 is 10, carry the 1, becomes 20. Just double check to make sure you're adding or whether you're adding or subtracting. 9 and 4 is 13, carry the 1. 2 and 1 and 1 is 2, 23. Here's another addition. 9 and 2 is 11, carry the 1, 21. Ooh, here we go, subtraction. 7 minus 3 is 4. 2 minus nothing is 2. Your answer is 24. 9 minus 5 is 4. 17 minus 3. Well, 7 minus 3 is 4. 1 minus nothing is 1. So we did all of those. Now we're going to find the real one. Are you ready? Here's where we got to pay close attention. First of all, double check again if you're adding or subtracting. Fill in any zeros if you need. Be careful to show all your borrowing if you need to borrow, all your regrouping if you need to regroup, and be neat, 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 neat. Okay, here we go. 8 plus 7. I'm sorry, 0 plus 7, 7. 8 and 6, 14, carry the 1. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't forget your decimal. Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to keep going. I'm not even going to speak. I am just going to do the math, and you can follow. You can pause. You can do all these yourself, and then just double check your answers. Okay, I'm going to go in order. Oops. I did that one wrong. I stopped talking, and then my brain stopped working. What did I miss there? This is subtraction. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 0 is 5. 6 minus 3, 3. That's mine. 2 minus nothing is 2. So your answer is 23.53. Okay. Number 7, it is addition. 2 plus 1 is 3. 1 plus 0, 1. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Carry the 1. 23.13. Do not forget to add your decimal. Subtraction. You need this 0 here or else it's not going to work. 3 minus 0 minus 3. Can't do it. Borrow. 8. This becomes 10. 7. 7. 8. 7, 6, 3. Awesome. Okay, plus. Number 9 is addition. 9 and 0, 9. 6 and 4 is 10, carry the 1. 8, 9, 10, 11, carry the 1. 21.09. Awesome. We need to add that 0 in. It's a placeholder. We know there's like 0 pennies there. All right, 0 minus 6, can't do it. Got to borrow. 3 becomes 2. 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 2 minus 8, we can't do it. We got to borrow again. 7 becomes 6. 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. 1 minus nothing, 1. What am I forgetting? The decimal. Please, 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 please. Double check your decimals. Okay, they should all be lined up. And they should be in your answer. Now, here's where things start to really, you start to really notice how neat you are. Okay, pay attention. They show you on the first one. Look, here's all the place values. Do you see them? Okay, so this is the hundredths place, tenths, ones, and tens. Okay, So we're saying leave it all lined up, and it matters. Okay, I'm going to highlight all the decimals so you guys do not forget to put a decimal there. Okay, if you want to do this, get a highlighter and do this on your own paper, sure, go ahead. If you want, here's another thing you can do. And if I'm learning to do something and I think I might forget, you know what you can also do? You can go ahead and pre-fill in your decimal. See, I'm going to do that right now because you might do, I'm going to even scoot that one over. You might even be excellent at math, but if you forget your decimal, the answer is wrong. Just like when I missed a step and I did addition instead of subtraction, or I got them flip-flopped, that'll also make the answer wrong. So double check that you put a decimal. Also double check that you do addition when you need to do addition and subtraction when you need to do subtraction. So the instructions say add or subtract, so we really have to pay attention to that, and place zeros where needed. Do you see in the example? They already shaded in a little zero. You can also take this time and go through and say, oh, I need a 0 here and a 0 here, and I need a 0 here and a 0 here. Where else do I need a 0? Oh, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. There's another one on 19. Ooh, I need 2 on 22. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to pause the video. You're going to do all of these. If you want to fill them in like I did, so you have all your decimals ready to go, and you have all of your zeros where they needed to go. You can also do one more step if you want. I'm going to show you one because Mrs. Kornthal is notorious for missing the little obvious details. Like, oops, I added instead of subtracting. If you want to go through, so I just highlighted all the ones that are subtraction, please go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you pause the video, and then I'm just going to hop back on. I'm not going to do the problems with you because you know how to add and subtract. All the steps that you needed over here, but you're going to pause the video, do number 11 through 22 all by yourself. Okay, if you have a parent in the room, I hope they're listening, make you pause the video. And then I am just going to turn the video back on. I'm not going to show any carrying. I'm not going to show any regrouping. I'm just going to post the answers. Okay, and if you need to rework it because yours does not match, then please do that. Okay, so right now, you're going to turn off the video. Okay, boys and girls, if you hear my voice, that means you have completed number 11 through 22, and you're just checking your work. If you just write in the answers, is it helping you grow? Absolutely not. If you don't check your answers and you get them all wrong, and you think you've gotten them right, does that help you either? No. I want you to double check your work, and anything that you miss, I want you to make the corrections. If you try and make the corrections and you still can't figure out why, please ask a parent to help you. If you missed the whole section, maybe you need to call Mrs. Kornthal. Okay, if it's just 1 or 2, you probably just missed regrouping or just added 6 and 7 and got the wrong number. Okay, so check to see why you made the mistake if you made a mistake. But here you go. I'm just going to fill in all, I'm going to fill in all the answers so you will have them ready. 7.44. 12. 77.88. 13.75. Number 14 is 13.69. 15 is 21.87. 16 is 63.51. 1. 17, 8.10. 18, 18.82. 19, 29.53. Oh, 5 looks funny. 5.3. Number 20, 51.63. My decimal's already there, but I'm going to write it again anyway. Number 21, 14.45. 5, 22, 29.66. Now, if you got it wrong, the first thing to do is make sure you did addition when it was supposed to be addition, or subtraction if it was supposed to be a subtraction. That's probably the thing that you're most likely to miss. Number 2, just double check to see if you regrouped or borrowed when you needed to, and just see if you added right or subtracted right. Sometimes we just write the wrong thing. So if you got all of those right, get up right now and do a happy dance, because that is awesome. If you missed a couple, go fix them, pause the video, fix them, and then restart again when you've made the corrections. Okay, I'm proud of you. If you just copied my answers, I want you to erase everything that you did in that section, pause the video, go back and redo it on your own, and then check your work. It does you no good to just copy the answers because your brain is not working. So those are my instructions for you. And then when you're done with that, let's move on to the last couple of questions. Okay, here we go. What does this say? Let's read carefully. NASA's desert rats. This is fun. I bet you like this, Matthew. Rats equal research and technology studies. So research, you see the R-A-T-S. So NASA's desert rats, that's this guy right here, test space equipment in the desert. Well, I guess it's, yeah, this people who do that. Even on cool days, desert temperature can reach 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Sometimes desert rats work in temperatures up to 115.5 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the difference? Oh, difference tells us it's what? Subtraction. What is the difference between the two temperatures? So if I have temperature 1, it's 115. Okay, and I have temperature 2, which is 104. What's the difference? We're looking at this amount right here. And remember, when we're finding difference is subtraction. Okay, so what's the difference? Does it tell us to estimate? No, unfortunately. It says solve, which means we have to find out the exact amount. No estimates here. So here is where you need to be super duper, uber careful, because we need to line everything up. Here, I'm going to see if I could fit my equation, and I'm going to put it right here. 100, our larger number is 115.5 minus, this is where it's going to get tricky, 104. Do you remember there's an invisible decimal point after the whole number? Point what? 0. Okay, if you've done that, most likely you will get the problem right. If you didn't line it up, you will get the problem wrong for sure. Make sure you line up your decimals. Remember, after every whole number is an imaginary decimal. So if I have $1, $1.00, that means no dimes, no pennies. Do you see that? Okay, so now we subtract. Now that we're ready, 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 minus 0, 1. And 1 minus 1, 0. Oh, the answer is 115. Why does that not seem right? Well, because the first temperature was 115. Oh, 0.5. What did we forget? Okay, what did we need in our answer that made it correct? The decimal. So the answer is 11.5. The difference between the two temperatures is 11.5. What's our label? We're looking at the temperature, so all we need to do is put degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? If you got that, great. If it makes sense to you now, awesome. Okay. Ooh, this is review, but I want to do it with you. Write the next 3 numbers in the pattern. Ooh, this is a good review, boys and girls. Let's look at it a little closer. We have 3. Then we have 3 1/4. Ooh, look at the top number. Look at the numerator. How much is this going up by? Well, I'll give you a clue. 3 and nothing is the same as 3 and 0/4. So what is it going up by? We had 0/4 before, and now we have 1/4. So each time this is going up 1/4. Do you see it? So let's try this together. We have 3 and 1/4, 3 and 2/4. What would be the next one? 3 and 3/4. What would be the next one after that? 3 and 4/4. Wait a minute, Mrs. Cornthal. 3 and 4/4, that's the same as what? 4/4 is another whole, isn't it? So 3 plus another whole would equal 4, right? If I have $3 bills, and 4 quarters, how much is that worth? It's worth 4, right? Now what do we do, Mrs. Cornthal? Well, what is it still going up by? 1/4. So the next answer would be 4 and 1/4. Do you see that? That was a good practice for our brain. Okay. Let's look at the next one. See if you guys can do it on your own. Pause it. Okay. Hopefully you filled in those numbers. We have 6.5, then we have 7. Then we have 7.5, then we have what? It goes up to the next whole number. So it'd be 7.5. What if I added an extra half? 7.5 plus 7.5 would be 7 2/2, right? But we know that 2/2 is the same as another whole. So instead of writing 7 2/2, what could that be? 8. Well, let's add another half. 8 plus another half is 8.5. Okay, so 8.5 plus another half would be, what's the next whole number? 9. Awesome. If that is tricky to you, rewatch it. Play that part again, and see if you can try it. Make it out, if you need to, do 6.5 like little Lego blocks. Maybe have like a whole Lego block be this. 1, 2, 3, 4, like one of these 8 blocks, and then plus another half, the 4 square blocks. Okay. And then if you add another half, what would that be? Okay. If you need to play around with the fractions, you can, or just rewatch it and just think about the math. That is review, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. I just want to make sure it still makes sense to you. That's why I did it with you. All right, boys and girls, we are done for the day. Hooray! Love God and love your neighbor.